Something is draining your energy, and it's not just tiredness. You feel it, don't you? That exhaustion that doesn't go away even with rest. That feeling that, no matter how much you give your best, something inside you continues to empty. This is not just physical, it's spiritual. It's as if you are losing strength without understanding exactly why. If you are one of those people who always helps, who listens, consoles, advises, prays for others, but rarely finds someone who offers you the same, then you are a chosen one. And this has a price. People who carry light, who have a mission, attract all kinds of souls, including those who only want to suck, to feed on your presence, your faith, your kindness. And the most dangerous part? Often these people don't even realize they are draining you. And you, out of love, also don't realize you are giving beyond measure. But let me remind you of something. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowd to pray and recharge, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. He knew that you can't serve God from an empty place. And you need to understand this too. Because being good doesn't mean being always available. Being light doesn't mean extinguishing yourself for others to shine. Today, in this video, I want to show you how to close these invisible accesses that are draining your soul. Let's together understand the signs, the spiritual roots of exhaustion, and most importantly, how to protect yourself without ceasing to be who you are. This content has been prepared with care and truth for those who are tired of feeling drained inside. So, if this resonates with your heart, stop for a second, take a deep breath. And before we continue, subscribe to the channel. This way, you ensure that you will receive the next videos and continue with us on this journey of awakening and spiritual protection. Some people are born to be channels of healing, peace, and wisdom. You feel this in your heart. Whenever someone is suffering, it is to you that they turn. When there is confusion, you are the one who helps to calm things down. When someone is lost, it is to you that they look for direction. But who takes care of you? If you are someone who has a stronger connection to the spiritual, know that your energy vibrates differently. There is something in you that shines, even when you don't realize it. And this shine attracts attention. However, it doesn't always draw in good people. Many times, what comes to you are broken, needy, dependent individuals who see in you a safe place to lean on. It's as if you are a bonfire in the cold. People come close to warm themselves, but they don't think that if many lean in at the same time, the fire begins to dwindle. The chosen one is like this. They have a generous soul, listen with their heart, and feel others' pain as if it were their own. But when they don't learn to set limits, they become a source that others use, without even asking if there is still water inside. Those who carry light need to understand that being good does not mean saying yes to everything. Being spiritual doesn't mean being carried away by any energy that appears. True love knows when to give, but also knows when to stop. And this is wisdom, not coldness. Perhaps you are surrounded by people who only seek you out when they are feeling bad. People who never ask if you are well, but always want something from you. This is not a soul connection. This is dependency. And those who live like this end up feeling empty, even of their own faith. Chosen one of God, listen carefully. It is not your role to carry the burden of everyone. Your mission is to illuminate, not to extinguish yourself for others. You can guide, advise, or even help, but you cannot live others' lives in your place. Your energy is valuable. Your time is sacred. Your presence has power. Do not give this to just anyone. And here's an important reminder. Jesus helped, but he also withdrew. He taught, healed, and was with the crowds. But at various moments he stepped away to pray, to be alone with God. to strengthen himself. If even the Son of God needed that time, why do you think you don't? Learn to recognize who is truly with you and who is just feeding off your light. Because those who truly love you respect your moments. And those who only want to drain you will complain when you say no. It is not always easy to notice when someone is draining your energy. Sometimes we think we are just tired. We attribute it to work, routine, or the stress of daily life. But the weariness that comes from the soul has a different weight. And when it appears, it is a sign that someone is feeding off your light. Have you noticed that there are people who, after talking to you, leave feeling lighter, and you feel heavier? This is not a coincidence. It is a clear sign that there was an energetic exchange. And often, this exchange was not fair. You gave too much. You listened too much. You embraced, prayed, offered support, and ended up empty. A clear sign of spiritual draining is the feeling of exhaustion without physical reason. You wake up without motivation, dragging yourself throughout the day, even after sleeping well. It's as if someone is pulling your strength from the inside out. And this happens mainly after being around certain people. Another sign is the guilt you feel for saying no. When you refuse a request or say you cannot help at that moment, you feel bad, as if you are doing something wrong. This guilt is not natural. It has been planted. And those who plant this in you are almost always someone who has learned to manipulate you through your kindness. There are also those people who only show up when they need something. They disappear during your difficult moments. Don't ask how you are. But when they need attention or support, they appear out of nowhere. This is a relationship based on emotional interest. Also, notice if there are people around you who make you feel small or insecure. It could be someone who criticizes too much, plants doubts in your mind, or makes you restless. The energy of these people is heavy, and being with them makes you feel smaller than you are. This is not normal. This is energy theft. Another important sign, when you feel that your faith is weaker after certain conversations or encounters. You were feeling good, hopeful, firm in prayer. And after being with a certain person, it seems that your spirit has wilted. This shows that there was an imbalance in the spiritual field, and one must be attentive to it. Chosen one of God, stop ignoring these signs. You are not being exaggerated or dramatic. You are spiritually sensitive. And this sensitivity is a warning. Pay attention to the people who empty you. Those who truly love you strengthen you. Those who only want to suck away your energy weaken you. Have you ever stopped to think about why even Jesus withdrew from people from time to time? Even being full of light, even having a divine mission, even with all the spiritual power he carried, he understood that it was necessary to step away from the crowd. Jesus knew the value of silence. He knew that giving of oneself all the time without replenishing was a sure path to exhaustion. It is written, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Luke 5:16. This shows something profound. Even those who are strong need to retreat to strengthen themselves. Your spiritual strength comes from your connection with God, not from your ability to help others all the time. When you are in tune with heaven, you fill up. When you give without renewing, you empty yourself. This is the root of energetic draining. It is not just about difficult people or heavy environments. It is about a lack of spiritual protection, a lack of pause, a lack of recharging. Many good people, many chosen ones, are today empty inside because they have forgotten this. They are trying to save everyone, carry everything on their backs, solve other people's problems. But they have forgotten to look inside. And that is why the heart is tired, faith is shaken, and the soul is restless. The enemy knows that he doesn't need to take your faith all at once. He just needs to leave you exhausted. Because a tired chosen one prays less. An exhausted chosen one hears God's voice less. An overloaded chosen one begins to doubt their own purpose. And when this happens, you become vulnerable. Not only to people who drain your energy, but to negative feelings such as guilt, fear, anguish, and doubt. The root of it all is spiritual. And the solution is too. You need to return to the presence of God. Return to praying for yourself, not just for others. Return to seeking silence, even if it is just for a few minutes a day. Remember that you are a channel, not the source. God sustains everything, not you. The world will always ask more from those who have light, but the wise learn to stop, step back, and recharge. And this is not weakness, this is protection. There is a subtle trap that ensnares many chosen ones, emotional dependence disguised as love. And the most dangerous part of this is that many times you don't even realize you are trapped. You think you are helping, being a companion, being light. But in reality, you are being used as a constant emotional support, without return, without balance. There are people who do not relate to you for who you are. They get close because you solve things, because you listen, because you hold it together. Over time, you cease to be seen as a human being and become a function. You become the counselor, the peacemaker, the safe harbor. But the problem is that when you need someone, no one fulfills that role for you. This type of relationship is unfair. And more than that, it is destructive, because it gradually robs you, taking your emotional and spiritual energy. And when you begin to set boundaries, to say no, to prioritize yourself a little, these people get upset. They accuse you. They say that you have changed. But have you really changed? Or have you just stopped accepting being used? This cycle is dangerous because it traps you with guilt. You start to believe that you are being selfish for taking care of yourself. But the truth is that love that demands constant sacrifice is not love, it is dependence. And those who truly love you will respect you even when you need to step back. Many chosen ones have been taught from a young age to always be strong, to hold on, to never abandon anyone. But no one taught them to protect themselves. No one taught them to set limits. And that's why so many good people get lost trying to carry burdens that aren't theirs. You were not called to be anyone's emotional shield. You were called to be a channel of God's grace. And this requires balance. It requires wisdom to know when to help and when to allow the person to walk on their own. It is hard to realize that some people only approach you out of emotional interest. They enjoy the feeling of being welcomed, but are not willing to offer you the same. But seeing this is the first step to freeing yourself. Chosen one, understand. Those who truly love you want what is good for you, even when you need space. Those who are bothered by your silence, by your no, by your time, may never have truly cared about you, only about what you provided. True love liberates. Manipulation exacts a toll. And now that you have seen this pattern, it is time to break free. Many people think that protecting their own energy is selfish, that setting limits is distancing oneself from love. But that is not true. Taking care of yourself is an act of self-love and also of spiritual wisdom. And those who are chosen need to learn this as soon as possible. You can continue to be light without letting yourself be extinguished. You can continue to be a heart without letting others trample on it. God did not call you to sacrifice yourself for everyone. He called you to fulfill a mission, and this is only possible when you are whole. Cutting off access to people who drain your energy does not mean cutting off love. It means recognizing that you cannot carry more than your soul can handle. It means saying, I still love, but I cannot continue like this. Start small. You don't need to explain everything. You don't have to justify every step. Often, silence is your best shield. When someone insists too much, demands too much, drains too much, the best response may simply be calm distance. Be at peace with that. A practical tip: respond later, not right away. When you notice that someone is always demanding your attention, your time, your energy, learn to pause. Don't rush to respond immediately. Breathe. See if it is really urgent, because not every request needs to be fulfilled. Another powerful action is learning to say, "I need some time," and say it without guilt. You are not obligated to be available all the time. Those who love you will understand. Those who don't understand may have only loved what you did, not who you are. Protect your moments of silence. You don't always need to speak. Sometimes holding your words is a way to conserve your strength. There are people who do not truly listen. So why waste what is precious? Being spiritual is not being accessible all the time. Being spiritual is being guided by the Spirit. And he also says when it is time to withdraw. Be gentle, but firm. Be loving, but aware. You can continue to be light without being a candle that burns out completely. Cutting off access is not distancing yourself from love. It is maintaining what is true. It is preserving the essence that God placed in you. There is no point in carrying a gift if you live exhausted. It makes no sense to have light if it is constantly being extinguished due to lack of care. The spiritual walk requires strength, not the kind of strength that comes from outside, but the kind that springs from within you. And this strength does not emerge on its own. It needs to be fed, protected, and maintained with care. This is a responsibility that no one can take on for you. If you have been living with a tight heart, low spirit, confused mind, and weary faith, this is a clear sign. Your strength is being drained, perhaps little by little, perhaps all at once. But the fact is that your energy is escaping through places that you need to close off. There comes a time when the soul cries out for help. And when this happens, the help will not come from the outside. It starts with your own actions. First, you need to acknowledge that you are not invincible. Even with firm faith, even with the presence of God, you remain human. And this means that you feel, get tired, and have limits. Spirituality is not about ignoring fatigue. It is about knowing how to listen to your body, heart, and spirit before everything collapses. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to protect yourself is through conscious solitude. Set aside moments of your day to be alone with God. It is not an escape. It is a reconnection. A time just for you to pray, breathe, think, and listen. It is in silence that the presence of God manifests most clearly. Those who are chosen need less noise and more presence. Another essential practice: pray more for yourself. You care so much for others, intercede for many, and empathize with other people's pain. But your soul also needs to be heard. God wants to take care of you too. Share with Him your doubts, your anxieties, your internal struggles. You do not need to be strong all the time. Learn to say, wisely, "This is not mine." Not every problem is yours. Not every fight is for you to enter. There is a big difference between being alongside and carrying it completely. You can support without erasing yourself. You can love without exhausting yourself. You can listen without absorbing everything. Rest is also sacred. Resting is not a waste of time. It is part of the process. When you rest, your spirit listens better. The soul reorganizes. You begin to see things more clearly. Excessive fatigue makes spiritual vision blurry, and a blurry soul easily strays from the path. Feed on the Word, not just when everything is difficult, but every day. The Bible is a shield against invisible attacks. It is direction when everything seems confusing. It is a firm foundation when the ground seems to shift. Do not distance yourself from it. The more truth you carry, the less room there is for delusions. Remember, your strength is a treasure. Do not squander it. Those who protect their energy protect their mission, and those who protect their mission fulfill their calling until the end, whole, steadfast, and at peace. There comes a moment when you understand that silence speaks more than any explanation. When you start to distance yourself from environments, conversations, and people, something changes, not just in you, but in others as well. And that's when the masks begin to fall off. It's easy to maintain certain ties when you are always available. When you respond quickly, make yourself available, solve problems, and listen to everything. As long as you are there, giving without measuring, people feel comfortable. But when you withdraw, the discomfort begins. Suddenly, those people who used to reach out to you every day start accusing you of coldness. They say that you have distanced yourself, that you become strange, that you have changed. And they are right. You have really changed. Only you have changed for the better. You began to realize how much you were being used as a tool, not out of malice, but out of convenience. And that hurts. It hurts to realize that many people did not see you as a person, but as a resource. As someone who solves, who understands, who is always there. But you know what is more painful? Realizing that many of these people don't miss you. They miss what you did for them. When you stop attending to them, when you cease to resolve, when you become silent. Who was there for genuine reasons remains. Those who were there out of interest will leave. And that's how God allows you to see the truth. Widening the distance is not punishment. It is revelation. Chosen one, do not fear the silence. Because in the silence, you hear God's voice more clearly. And when you hear His voice, you begin to see who truly walks with you and who was only in your life for convenience. The masks fall when you stop serving, when you stop pleasing, when you begin to choose your peace. That's when the false ones get uncomfortable. That's when manipulation emerges. Because those who want to control you need you to continue giving in. But now you are different. Now you understand that protecting your energy is not selfishness. It is maturity. That keeping your distance from those who hurt you is not pride. It is self-love. And those who do not accept your new stance never respected your essence. You do not need to fight, justify, or explain yourself. The distance itself reveals everything. True love respects the pause, respects the silence, respects your time. The rest was just attachment to what you were giving. This is a painful yet necessary process. Because when you begin to truly love yourself, you start to clear the ground of your life. Those who were there out of interest leave. Those who recognize your worth without needing you to always be giving, solving, proving remain. And more importantly, when you withdraw, God draws closer. He begins to show you things that, in the noise, you could not see. He starts to heal wounds you didn't even know you had. And in this process, you find yourself again. What seemed like loss is actually liberation, and what seemed like solitude is actually protection. You are not alone. You are in a time of revelation, and the truth, however harsh it may be, is always liberating. Stand firm. Resist the urge to return just to please. Those who are bothered by your peace have never been at peace with you. You were not called to live in pieces. You were not chosen by God to be anyone's emotional crutch. Your gift is light, yes, but light needs fuel to keep shining. And this strength, this energy that moves you, also needs to be protected. There comes a point where you need to stop trying to save those who do not want to be saved. Stop giving yourself to those who do not see you as a person, but as a tool. You are not a solution for everyone. You are a channel. And a channel needs to be clean, flowing, at peace. The world will continue to ask more of you. More time, more attention, more help. But you need to learn to say not now, because those who do not learn to protect themselves end up sick, tired, distant from their own essence. And let me make one thing clear. Spirituality is not about wearing yourself out. It is not about saying yes to everything. It is not about always being available. True spirituality has to do with discernment. It has to do with knowing who deserves your presence, with knowing when to be silent, when to step back, when to take care of yourself. You can continue to be good without being foolish. You can continue to help without losing yourself. You can continue to love without accepting emotional abuse. That is wisdom. That is spiritual maturity. Starting today, take possession of what you have learned here. Observe the people around you. Notice who lifts you up and who drains you. And start making choices based on that. Because protecting your strength is protecting your calling. There is no mission well fulfilled with an exhausted soul. God wants you standing, strong, conscious, whole. And this begins the moment you choose to put yourself first. Not out of selfishness, but out of obedience. If you felt that this message confronted you, awakened you, freed you from a tiring cycle, then leave your mark here. Comment below. I am setting limits to continue being light and speak with truth, because that is the step that separates those who only listen from those who truly awaken.